Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On. It's another week, which means a whole load of new deals for you to take advantage of, and this week is a good one.
For you are my children, and I am your father!
This week really is filled with some incredible games, the first being Assassin's Creed Origins. You can get the base game for just £27.50 and the Gold Edition for £40, which includes the Season Pass, giving you access to all the major DLC that the game has to offer. Origins is also one of the most beautiful games that you'll play on Xbox, with it being Xbox One X enhanced, and the Egyptian landscape is truly stunning, from the massive sand dunes to the iconic pyramids. There will be plenty of times that you'll just find yourself staring at the view rather than anything else. With Origins, there also came a whole new combat system for the Assassin's Creed franchise. You now have a variety of different weapons to use and a fluid combat system that, in my opinion, is one of the best additions to the Assassin's Creed franchise in years, which will have you shooting arrows from your bow, rolling to dodge huge attacks, and of course, still have some awesome combat animations. And with the game being less than a year old, a 50% discount is pretty damn sweet. Over the weekend, you may have found yourself playing a ton of the Battlefield 5 beta, blasting your way through the beautiful streets of Rotterdam and the devastated harbour of Narvik, trying out all the amazing new things that the game has to offer. But if you feel like you're going to get some Battlefield withdrawal, there's been a massive 85% discount on Battlefield 1, which was my most played shooter in 2017 and still stands up today, with a huge community still playing on a daily basis, and for only £5.25, it's an absolute bargain. One mode in particular that you have to try out is Operations, which has some of the most intensive first-person shooter action out there. Whether you're attacking or defending, you'll have waves upon waves of enemies rushing straight towards you, supported with tanks and planes and the occasional behemoth, which you definitely won't miss when it spawns into the game. And if multiplayer isn't for you, the game still has 5 different single-player war stories for you to play through, following the stories of different soldiers in World War I who played different roles, such as a pilot or an infantry troop, which is worth the £5.25 on its own, in my view.
We can be proud of ourselves, our country, our great empire.
Crash Bandicoot can quite firmly place itself in that nice fuzzy part of your brain that's reserved for puppies and pizza and your favourite sweater. The game that has stood the test of time over generations and remained a firm favourite in many gamers' hearts. You spin to win, gobble apples and smash boxes, running through each level with a strong air of nostalgia, and this game came to Xbox for the first time ever with the Sane Trilogy back in June. Try and hold back the happy tears. Fully remastered, enhanced for the Xbox One X, and looking better than ever, you can experience all the fun of the original trilogy, including Crash Bandicoot, Crash 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and Crash 3, Warped, in one convenient place. Now, as of this week, you can get a cheeky 25% off the total price, getting your fill of the modern classic from the comfort of your modern console for £26.24.
Well, if it isn't Crash Bandicoot.
Releasing late March this year, Far Cry 5 was an unsettling peek into a fictional doomsday cult set in Montana, USA, introducing characters and scenarios that hit a little too close to home at times, but paired off with the wacky insanity that Far Cry tends to bring to the table. This is an FPS with a lot of action and adventure. You can create absolute madness in the scenic mountain roads with a variety of weapons and explosives, escape from very angry bears and angrier cult members, and most importantly, try and escape from Hope County itself. There's a long story with a ton of very unique side quests and a huge map to explore, and there's definitely a GTA in the mountains sort of vibe to the whole thing. You can take the story at your own pace while finding collectibles and new weapons, or maybe upgrading your shovel. Because seriously, throwing shovels are amazing. You can get Far Cry for 40% off right now at £35.73 in beautiful 4K Ultra HD enhanced for the Xbox One X.
We want you, we accept you, and we will take you, willingly or not.
This week, you can pick up Diablo 3 The Eternal Collection for £27.50, which includes the Reaper of Souls expansion and Rise of the Necromancer. Now, Blizzard fans among us will be no stranger to this classic series, and despite it being out since 2012, it feels incredibly fun and accessible to a new player still, with new patches and updates still being regularly released. With Diablo 4 in the pipeline, this is a great opportunity to see what the vibe is about, and it might just surprise you. I know it did for me. This is a game that is so easy to pick up and play, with a wide selection of different heroes to play to suit your playstyle. Those of you who enjoy beating things up with brute force can play as a barbarian, or those of you who prefer using spells and staying out of range can try out the wizard, which is my personal favourite. There are plenty of guides online to help you get all specced up with the right gear and ability set, until you're running through each dungeon tapping one ability and laughing gleefully as everything falls before you. Maybe time to up the level, or maybe just enjoy the feeling of lobbing abilities and feeling disgustingly powerful. It's up to you. It plays incredibly well on a controller and is fun to chill out with on an evening to yourself or co-op with friends. For only £27.50, there's so much depth and character to this game. It's definitely one worth experiencing and a personal recommendation.
And you should all run.
Next up, we have a game that has dramatically improved since its original launch and is being constantly updated by the incredible team at Ubisoft Montreal, Rainbow Six Siege. Jump into this attack and defend masterpiece, where the defending team is given 45 seconds to set up their defense by reinforcing their walls, putting down barbed wire and setting traps that the attackers won't expect. The game also plays so differently every single time you attack and defend, because there are 40 different operators that all have different abilities and special weapons, so you can approach the game in unique ways with your team every single time. With the game still receiving updates, this is a shooter worth picking up for only £12.
And I'll make sure you never escape it.
Next up is a cult classic. Nearly everyone knows what South Park is, with its tendency to offer provocative humour and an edgy take on pop culture. And back in 2014, the makers of South Park released their first game, The Stick of Truth, and it quickly became a fan favourite. Last October, the sequel was released, The Fractured But Whole, and yes, that is the title. It follows the same formula for success with the characters and setting everyone knows, but with a whole new adventure. This is definitely an 18+ game full of mature humour and edgy references, but you'll be following familiar faces once again in this true sequel that follows on from the events of the last game. You're the new kid who recently moved in and integrated yourself in the epic superhero roleplay that dominates the streets of Colorado. As you work on establishing yourselves as the alpha heroes on the block, you uncover a conspiracy that threatens to unpin society as you know it. The gameplay is a little bit tactical, using a variety of ranged, melee, and abilities in turn-based combat that pokes fun at typical superhero tropes. This month, you can experience this fart-filled game for 70% off at only £15. Well worth it if you're a South Park fan already and you want to experience a little bit more that the universe has to offer. You can also find the Gold Edition at 60% off, giving you the base game and the Season Pass, including all new adventures and friends to adventure with, referencing lots of little bits from the first game, The Stick of Truth.
What has become of this city?
And finally, this week we have an absolute bargain, which is Trials of the Blood Dragon, which is a completely different take on a Trials game, as you won't spend the entire time on your bike, but will have to navigate through areas on foot and will have to shoot your way through some enemies. And like all Trials games, there is this constant push to get the top rating by learning the level inside out and trying to get through it without dying, like me and Charleyy found out when we played it on stream.
All the stuff he's
Yes!
trying to do.
No! Yes! No! God, I hate this part! But with it only costing £4.80, it's worth every single penny.
This place is one commie cesspool.
So there we have it. Those are the deals you can pick up on Xbox this week. We'll leave a link to the full list down in the description below. Make sure to let us know what you think down in the comments. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and smash that thumbs up button. And we'll see you next time. Bye!